Everybody, welcome to What the Flick. Jason, Grace, Alonso, chapter 20 of the Riverdale saga, Tales from the Dark Side. Does this feel like this was the Halloween episode?
It's absolutely
a little late.
Yeah. Also had a 90s throwback feel. We'll touch on that though.
But I mean, like, you know, Tony Todd, and as my friend Kevin Quigley pointed out online, that crate is right out of Creepshow.
Yeah.
And just so many of this, it just felt like the spooky episode. And you know, the comics actually are doing a really interesting job with, you know, there's Afterlife with Archie, which is their zombie book, and there's a Sabrina book that's very creepy now, which I think they're gonna turn into a show. But it just, I mean, it was a good episode. I liked it. It just felt like this is a month late.
It kind of felt like 3 different horror shorts.
Well, they set it up that way.
Intertwined, yeah, exactly. Like, and I think that they did that really well. Just before we went to tape, I was like, who wrote this episode? Because I really liked the way that the 3 storylines tied together. But Josie's specifically like creeped me out. You know, I felt very spooked, and stalking is something that is like a weird fear. It's not a weird fear. It's a super rational fear of mine. Like, no, I don't like being like.
It's a fear of a weird thing.
Yeah, and I thought they handled that really well, and it was definitely suspenseful.
Flat Tire, the
Dead
deer,
of Night,
deer. Tony Todd. So I watched the episode and thought, wow, this was very. I Know What You Did Last Summer, Scream, had that kind of feel to it because you had all the characters and. In situations that were dangerous. Josie's storyline to me, I was so happy that she got more meat, I guess, because
she hasn't been a huge character so
not
far,
at all. And then here we have pretty much half of the whole episode is based on her mom, her relationship with Cheryl, which was kind of a bombshell at the end. Like, Cheryl's stalking Josie, allegedly, right? Were we buying that?
Well, that's the implication is there. I mean, it's clearly her drawing.
Like, oh, thank you for saving my life. Yeah. Can I drink your bathwater, Josie?
I leave you this pig heart in a box.
It's a little strange with what we know of Cheryl's character, in that Cheryl has made it so clear that she doesn't need anyone, and she, you know, you should be so lucky that she would grace you with her presence. So she obviously has this attachment, obsession with Josie that is at least implied with her doing the drawings at the end, which didn't totally align with how I understood her character. That said, she was saved from an incredibly traumatizing incident by Josie and her pussycats.
If I can't have you,
that
no
might have
one
changed
can.
something within her, but it was a little strange from how I have understood Cheryl to be.
I'm interested that they're actively seeking to rehabilitate Chuck Clayton, because in the comics he is actually a comic artist. Like, that's his thing. And yeah, his behavior in season 1 was despicable. But you know, and this is a topic I think has been coming up a lot lately in the sort of post, you know, Weinstein era of like, is there rehabilitation? Do people get another chance? Can we fix broken behavior? And I don't know what the answer is, but
do you think that they will address that question head on? Do you think that's why they're introducing Chuck Clayton? Because
I think so.
They will.
I think they already are.
Yes.
Like he's saying, like, yes, I did terrible things, but now I'm pouring myself into my art. I'm going to church. I'm like, you know, this, and I'm not saying that, okay, great, he's off the hook now. But I think it's interesting that the show is sort of pursuing, what does that look like? What does it look like when somebody who was a serial abuser like learns that was the wrong thing to do and tries to fix his life?
And they're doing. I think they're doing a fantastic job. At Jump, when I first was diving into that element of the show, I thought, wow, that's pretty, wouldn't say racy, but pretty bold for a CW show to take on that kind of narrative with those characters being so young. I think they're doing a fantastic job with that. I think the exchange between him and Josie was amazing. Although I was disappointed that she sided with Cheryl when they were accusing Chuck of stalking her, of sending the notes, of being the bad guy. That kind of, because I was rooting for them. I thought they, again, had great chemistry. And
well, she's acting out of fear, I think.
Right.
And especially when the mother says, like, well, if Josie says it, it's true. And she's like, I'm not sure if it's a true thing, but you know.
Because Robin Givens, I have a long relationship with Robin Givens since Head of the Class, you know, the 90s, her marriage to Mike Tyson. I'm loving her. I'm loving her character. I think this episode was nice to see her not be so. Oh, and today we're going to do this, like very robotic. There's some emotion behind it.
Did you think there was kind of a weird dance around where she's talking about like, oh, the terrible notes I got with those words? It's like, could we talk about what we're talking about here?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it's like they don't want to say race, but they want to dance around it and make sure that you know that's what they mean. It's like, just say it.
Yeah.
Just say that you're talking about that you're in a town where there's seemingly, apart from Josie and the Pussycats, there are no other black people. I mean, the Claytons, obviously. It's like, yeah, so you got racist notes from Crackers. Say it.
Racist notes from Crackers, everyone.
That's my band.
Alonso, people.
Riverdale goes there.
Right.
It does.
But they also don't.
They go there until they don't.
Veronica and Officer Keller. Hello. So was that sheriff? I'm sorry, the sheriff.
Oh, yeah,
that was weirdly sexual.
Weirdly sexual.
Well, look, hey, someone had to take their shirt off, and they said if it wasn't going to be Archie, Sheriff Keller, we saw him on
And
set.
I was here for every sweat dripping minute of it. Yes,
But
Daddy.
it was weird.
It was
I
weird.
mean, I like that they addressed sort of Sheriff Keller as a red herring. I think they sort of needed to.
Because you've been saying all along you thought it was Sheriff Keller, right?
No, I've been saying all along that it is Betty's dad is the Black
Mr. Cooper,
Hood.
right.
Mr.
Yes.
Cooper is the Black Hood. That is, I have gone on record, I think since episode 2 saying that, but they did need to address, could it be someone in our circle?
Sure.
And that person would be Sheriff Keller, especially with the shooting of
in the prison.
the prison. Like, I totally understand why Betty would go there, but I thought that having this weird tension between Veronica and Sheriff Keller, it wasn't really tension, but
It was tension, Grace. It was totally tension.
I didn't think they were gonna make out, but there was definitely one of those things where it's like, he is sweaty and shirtless, and she's saying that she is thirsty.
And is it hard? Is it, Grace, the best part of that exchange was, is it hard? Pause. And you're just like, come on, CW, really?
I thought that was funny. I did like the turnaround though when she goes in the basement and you hear the moaning and you think, oh God, is there some prisoner down there? It's like, no, he's just doing.
I was done with
that. Was
so
pretty,
good.
That was
so
a fun
good.
turnaround.
I don't know what's wrong with my head. I thought he was having sex, which actually he probably is with.
Later.
Mayor
That
McCoy,
happens
so.
later. She's staying in a hotel.
No, a motel.
No. She's staying in a hotel. She and Josie are living at the
She
Five
hooks up
Seasons.
at the motel.
And then she goes to the motel. It's like, can't you just get a room on another floor?
That's what you thought, though.
How
she knows
hard
what's
is
up,
that?
and she has a burner phone. It's great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess if you're the mayor, you got to be super DL about.
They're a
this
hot couple,
stuff,
though. I'm glad. Riverdale. If we want to talk about like the themes that they're exploring, Riverdale does a fantastic job of having interracial relationships, of giving all equal parts to things that matter right now in television.
Yeah.
Yes, and so I loved the exchange between the Pussycats and Josie. Like, what do you mean? You're the Beyonce now? You're going solo? It was so comical because that would really happen. We are done. You set us up for your solo album. Did you? It's like Escape, the group Escape. Remember that from the 90s? It's them all over again. They needed that drama with because the Pussycat Dolls are way too, the Pussycat Dolls. The Pussycats, sorry. Pussycat Dolls, similar. They're way too nice for me. I need some claws to come out.
They have been, I mean, like there was a whole thing where like Val was working with Archie, and they're like, you're in a band, remember? Like they've had their sort of internecine things going on, which is kind of cool.
And they also kicked the shit out of a would-be rapist.
Indeed, they did. They certainly did.
Yeah, they definitely got the claws out for that.
But and now I think what we're really looking at here though is like Jughead is sort of stuck in this situation.
Peabody. What up?
Penny Peabody.
I have to say though, this character must be so fun for the actress to play because she's such a backstabbing, conniving, sneaky, smart bitch.
Right? Didn't you think she was going to be that from jump though?
I did think that. But
we're warned by Jughead's dad, like, just stay away from this woman.
But the depths of her deceit,
and treachery.
I was very impressed. Just that she was able to lie. I actually felt pretty convincingly, although I remember thinking it's weird that she wouldn't produce a photo or a phone call or something from FP, that maybe that Jughead wouldn't check in with his dad, be like, Dad, I'm gonna help you out with this sort of thing.
Or that Jughead wouldn't think to do it himself, like he's so like in the moment of like, oh no, that he doesn't actually like, he's usually smarter than this, but I buy that in this moment of crisis he wouldn't necessarily do the due diligence,
She's such a smooth operator.
Sure.
She knows exactly what she's doing. I wonder what sort of a debt she is going to be holding over Jughead, because now it seems like he's more entrenched with the Serpents than even before, even after his initiation. I think what Archie doesn't understand also that is kind of frustrating is that you don't just get initiated into a gang and then leave.
Yeah.
Because Archie and Betty to an extent, but Archie in this most recent episode are asking things like, how long are you gonna do this for, Jughead? Like, what's the end game here, Jughead? I'm like, he's in a gang now. The only way out is gonna be very bad.
Very bad. The thing, okay, so with Penny Peabody, I was glad that she took that turn. Because from when we first saw her last season, which was season 1, yes, where we saw was
season 2.
Season 2,
yeah,
or the beginning,
yeah.
sorry about that. I was like, this girl's up to something. Because the whole exchange was, well, you help me, I help you. And anyone who says that to you, it's quid pro quo, and they want something in return, for sure. And guys, did I miss something, or when did Betty and Jughead become sleepover buddies? Because they're always waking up together with morning breath. How was that happening?
Obviously there was that moment where they had to sort of break up because of the Black Hood,
Right.
and then like they obviously worked that stuff out, and she was able to tell him that was the deal. I don't think this is the first time we've seen that. I think they've had sleepovers before.
Because I'm sure the mom.
I know. I'm just thinking about
yeah.
Miss Cooper. Okay with
Yeah,
this?
why has she not busted through the door with
Hey,
some kind
look,
of,
last time we saw her, she was wearing that crazy outfit.
Which
so
was amazing.
So she's off on who knows what tangent
The
at this
Coopers
point.
are all going rogue at this point.
And
Mr. Cooper is the Black Hood. Betty's having sex with Jughead.
breaking and entering.
What I love is the fact is that Riverdale is this town that is all topsy-turvy, and there's a murder on the loose and all this crazy shit. But Greendale is where the shit really goes down. You don't want to be there after midnight.
Yeah, that was
even Riverdale Southsiders are like, oh no, not fucking Greendale. No.
And you know that we're gonna have to get into Greendale then.
Clearly. Clearly.
It's a great sort of jumping off point. And that's what I love about Riverdale is that I do feel as though the writers on this show think very far ahead into the future. I don't feel like the mystery was gone from season 1 when we found out that it was Mr. Blossom, and I don't feel like I'm losing any intrigue now, even though more and more has been revealed. They just reveal a little thing like the name Greendale and how it's worse than Riverdale, and you're like, oh shit.
Hang on. I have a theory that this just popped into my head, but I think that the Black Hood is speaking for all of the viewers who were like, how dare you take this pure piece of Americana and turn it into this dirty sex and violence filled thing. I want my characters to be pure and having malted chat pops.
Right.
That's what he's doing. His whole thing is he's going after sinners. He's going after people who aren't behaving, and he's going after the people who have made Riverdale not Archie comics.
Yeah, I think that's a great theory. I think that's exactly right. I would love to think that that's sort of what they came up in the writers room. It was like, okay, here was our criticism. Let's lean into
Let's make that guy this. Let's put that into the mouth of a serial killer.
Okay, so do you guys remember a show called Revenge? That was on ABC.
Yes.
That was really hot the first 3 seasons.
Oh, of course. Yes.
Revenge. Yes. Sundays, man, you were on it. And then they brought in that Carry On. They brought in all these different characters that were supposed to be this ominous villain. I hope the Black Hood turns out to be just as magnificent as we want him to be, because they're investing a lot in this Black Hood character. I mean, this whole arc has been based on the Black Hood.
Oh, if the Black Hood is Madeline Stowe, I'm in.
Shut up, Victoria. What's her? Victoria Grayson. Victoria Grayson. Yeah, I'm here for Riverdale. In the comment section last week, people were like, Jason, how dare he crap on Cheryl? So I took what you guys said to heart, and now I rewatched all the first season and all the season just to make sure that I wasn't crazy, and I still don't like Cheryl. So sorry about it.
Well, look, she's good TV.
She has good TV.
We don't have to like her as a friend, but All right. So things are happening. We'll be back next week with more. Join us then. Thanks.